This is probably one of the more important videos that I'll do on puppies. And I want to talk about puppies, puppy biting, and I'm going to talk about how to get them not to bite and how not to continue this. One of the main reasons that puppies continue biting is that people get on the ground at eye level and start doing this, playing with them. And they can't figure out why the puppy's biting them. Get off the ground. Stop hand wrestling with the puppy. It doesn't know. It's instinctual for the puppy. Dogs don't think, they respond, and they respond instinctually and by trained commands. So puppies, they have like this reflex to use their mouth, some more than others. This dog that we're going to talk about is one of the worst offenders I've ever known, probably the most mouthy dog. If his parents did anything that was real smart, it was send him to me, because this dog would have been a definite problem if they were trying to get the puppy to stop puppy biting. It would have been a pain in the ass. So know that we're talking about a real mouthy dog, a soft mouth dog. I saw it right away. I was calling the owner. I texted him. I go, this dog's super soft mouth and it's real mouthy. This is going to be a great retriever. So a dog, let go of the leash, brother. So a dog that's an example. The soft mouth dogs do stuff like that. They go for paper, the leash. You have to tell them no. They go for your hand. I called the owner, texted him. I said, this dog's going to be a great retriever, and he is. Because these real mouthy dogs have a tendency to be great retrievers. They want to use their mouth, but the problem is that you can't have them using their mouth inappropriately. So you have to start telling the puppy no. Now at a point, it doesn't do, you can't really correct the puppy, until it's about 4 months old. But I would tell the dog no and throw some negativity towards him. And the other thing that I do with the puppy is I work with the puppy and I work with their mouth. So when I'm teaching Bowser to hold, Bowser, sit up. So when I'm teaching the dog to hold, I am going over towards his mouth. I'm grabbing his mouth, opening his mouth, putting objects in, but I'm not letting him go for my hand. And if he does go for my hand, I tell him no. So that's going to be the difference between me and if you're not really training your dog, you're not going to get the same results. There's a lot of things that I did with this dog where I'm going up towards the head, but I'm not letting him bite me, okay? So he get used to my hand next to his head. Like I'll put the dog up here. I'll put him in a high collar, meaning, so he's like this, right? The leash is going up. He's hooked on. He's in the sit position, so he's limited as far as movement goes. And then I'll comb the dog out. So the dog got used to seeing my hand by his face and moving. Instead of like, I'm going to use the term idiots, you idiots that get puppies that think that you're supposed to be on the ground wrestling with the dog, like this is important for the dog's development, that you're socializing the dog. You're not. You're training it to be a biter. Wake up. You can't get on the ground and play with the dog. And first off, if you have kids, don't let them play with the puppy. You're just teaching the dog to jump on humans that it's okay. You're teaching the dog to bite at humans that it's okay. And you can't tell kids much. They just don't listen. And generally speaking, the statistics are that the parent has told the child to leave the dog alone. Okay? The dog that bites, we're talking about like an adult dog. We're not talking about puppy biting. But the adult dog goes in the other room and the child follows the other dog and the kid gets bit. Lots of times kids are getting bit in the face for kissing the dog. Don't let the kid kiss the dog. Don't do that. Their head should be nowhere near that dog's mouth. And if they're young, once again, you have this this instinctual reflex in the dog that they just go for anything. They're just, you put your hand down there, they're going for it. So if you put your face down there, the puppy will get you. He would. I'd put my face down close to Bowser. He'd go like that. He wanted to get my nose. Not in a way that was like he was being aggressive. Not that he wanted to hurt me. He wanted to play with me. And he just didn't understand. So to get the dog to understand not to do this, I had to use the word no. And no had already been conditioned in by using a leash. So when he did something, if he was, say I said sit and he didn't sit, I'd give him a correction. No, sit. So when I said no, I'm giving him a correction with the leash. So he already understood that no was a negative. You're doing something wrong, dog. No is the word we use to tell dogs they're doing the right thing, the proper thing, or they're doing the improper thing. Good or good boy, that's what we use to tell the dog it's doing the right thing. You have to train your dog no. If you have a puppy and you're taking it to a kindergarten class and it's purely positive, you're wasting your money, and there's a good chance that your dog, statistically, is going to end up biting someone. If you're working with a purely positive trainer and the dog is biting and they're purely positive, you're not going to tell the dog no. This behavior, this puppy biting, will continue into adulthood, and then you have a real problem, because instead of playful biting, you have an adult dog with adult-sized muscles and everything, and it's going at you. You get testosterone, you're gonna end up creating a nightmare. There became a time with Bowser, about 3 weeks ago, I was like, he has to stop doing this. He's going back. He's going to be around kids. He needs to stop this puppy biting. I'm not saying that the owner is in the clear. He needs to watch the puppy and don't let problems start. Okay? I'm just saying that I got the dog to quit biting at my hand and biting at my clothes and biting at my face. So he's being compliant as far as that goes. If he was still biting at me, he would bite at the owner, he'd bite at the kids. Do you understand what I'm saying? I can't say 100% sure, this dog will never bite. I can't do that. Because dogs respond to everything around them, including you, your kids' friends, and that's another thing. You got a young dog, 8 months old, a year old, whatever, and you have kids, and the kids' friends are coming over. Put the dog up. Just take it off the table. Put the dog up. It's ridiculous, and don't let the kids run around the dog. That's number one. And don't let the kid's face be down. They shouldn't be kissing the dog or hugging the dog. When you see these on the internet, you see most dogs don't want to be hugged. This is a fact. Any dog trainer that is worth anything will tell you this, that dogs do not want to be hugged. You have to sort of get them used to it. So if you're doing this, you're covering the dog. You're dominating the dog. You're speaking dog. Hey, Bows, knock it off. You're speaking dog to the dog, and you're saying, I'm dominating you. Don't do it that way, because you're speaking dog to them. Speak human dog, not dog. You don't want the dog to see you as an equal. It's not. So treat it like it's a dog and you're a human. When you're down on the ground doing this, playing with the puppy and all this, hand wrestling with the dog, shadow boxing with the dog, you're saying, I'm just like you. Let's play just like you. And then the dog continues doing it, and you can't figure out what the problem is. One of the first things that I do when I'm teaching the dog to hold is I start taking the lips and squeezing them in on the milk teeth, taking the object out or putting it in. That's what you do. Like if I was going to give Bowser a pill, I wouldn't wrap it in Braunschweiger, I'll tell you that. Or any dog. What I do is I grab the snout, I have a little pressure on the teeth, he opens his mouth, I put the pill at the back of his mouth, close the mouth. Okay? So that's one of the first things that I do, where the dog has seen my hand coming towards his face, but it's not to wrestle with him. Okay? You got to get the dog used to this, and you have to train the dog no, and if you're not going to do it, you better pay somebody else to do it for you. Bowser, come on. Chill out, brother. He's cute as shit. He is. Like I said, I put him up and I'd be grooming him, so I'd be going over with the scissors. He's all excited. He wants to hold this. That's what he wants to do. That's what he's trying to do. He's a physical assist dog. He could probably pick this up if I ask him to. Even though it's real flat, he would give it a shot. But, so I have him like this, and I need him to stay. No, dude, it's a very playful dog. See, that's the problem, is that playful dogs, they get in a lot of trouble. They get in a lot of trouble because they're not thinking, they're playing, and if they start playing improperly, no good. Now the other thing, let's give you an example of what I did to Kit. I just started doing this one because I got him used to not going for my hand. And to not go for my hand, I'd put my hand down there, and if he went for it, I'd go, no, right? And then I might even be presumptuous thinking that he's going to go for my hand. So I'd put my hand down close to his face. Bowser, here, sit. Chill out, brother. I go, no, and I put my hand down here. He can sniff it. He just can't go for it. Then I start doing the same. He stopped going for my hand and my clothes. Seen a vast improvement on this as soon as I started giving him the correction, setting him up. You have to set the dog up if you want to train the dog not to do some things. I don't care what you say, this is a dog, it's not a human. If you want the dog not to be on your couch, you set the dog up. It's on a leash, you set it up. Come on, get up on the couch, and then when it gets up on the couch, no! Right away. I think you try it the second time, it's probably not going to fall for the trick. Okay? So it's learning. It learns different than you. It's a dog. So, the other thing that I did when he go for my face, I cannot have him going back. Sit. That's Brewster barking down there because one of my pigeons, the water bowl, is down there and they're taking a bath. If he doesn't stop, I'm going to have to go down there and tell him to let the pigeons take a bath, and then we'll continue this. See if he stops. Okay, he stopped. So it excites Brewster. Excitement is the point that all dogs make mistakes. They bark, lunge, bite, or just don't listen. That would be true of this dog and all dogs. So to get Bowser not to go for my face, I couldn't have him going home knowing that it'd be around kids, and kids get bit in the face all the time. It's two girls, not good. If you have a boy that gets a scar on his face, not a big deal, but it's two girls, So I wouldn't want a male child to get bit in the face either. So to get him to stop going for my face, listen, this is what I did. This is for educational purposes. I'm not saying you should do this. Do you understand? I'm telling you what I do as a professional trainer. I don't recommend that you do this. I don't. I'm just showing you what I did. Do you understand me? I am not telling you to put your face in the face of a puppy or an older dog. I'm just showing you what I do as a professional trainer. This is the warning. This is the warning. Don't do this because you're not qualified to do it. And if I get bit, that's my own business. Okay? I'm being paid. Okay? If for some reason I get bit, it's no big deal. But if you get bit, it is a big deal. So don't do this. This is strictly for educational purposes. Be the same as true if you're going to put your hand down there and tell the dog no. If the dog's biting you, you're probably not qualified to be doing this, first of all. And you should you should contact a competent dog trainer. This is important. Don't do what I do. I'm not like you. I'm getting paid to take the risk, but with the puppy, it's not much of a risk. You know, the puppy can, flat out, the puppy can get you with its sharp milk teeth, kind of hang on your nose a little bit and make your nose bleed, because the capillaries in your nose are real close to the surface. That happens a lot. Like the puppy will get you right here or something, and you're going to get a bloody nose. Okay? I'm not saying do this. This is just what I do. If you're having problems with your puppy, and you have not, this dog is retrieving. This dog knows hold. This dog knows drop. This dog knows kennel. This dog knows down. It knows them all as implied stays. It heals. If your dog doesn't do all those, you're going to have a mess and a time bomb on your hand. And you should not be trying this at home. Okay? This is a dog that has been worked with professionally. Don't do this unless your dog is, you're really confident, one, with your abilities. And a lot of people are egotistical and they think that they know what they're doing with dogs, and they don't. So, Bowser, here, sit up, buddy. So, Bowser, he was going back recently. Bowser, come on, sit up, brother. Bowser's going back recently, so what I'd do is I'd put my face down here and I'd be the same thing, no. And if he licked me, it's okay. But at first, he would go like this and try and get my nose. So when I got close, and he'd go for my nose, like, sort of like that, right? But more aggressive. So, not aggressive, but I put it down here. No. If he licks me, it's fine. But if he opens his mouth, it's not. We're going over this until he goes home. And I'm also going to tell the owner to do this. The owner's male, he's going to be able to do this. The dog has a lot of training. I'm going to go over step by step to do this before he gets home with Bowser. Because if Bowser, no. He licked, fine. That's good. See, Bowser down. If Bowser will go for his owner's face, which he might, this is a really mouthy dog. We can, while he's doing lessons, ensure that Bowser knows that he's not supposed to do that with the owner. Then he's not going to do it with the children. But still, because Bowser's mouthy, he will lose some of this mouthiness as he ages. He's dropping teeth right now, I'm pretty sure. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Got a couple more to go, I think. So, he's less mouthy than he's going to be, and even the labs, the labradoodles, the goldens, all these dogs that are real mouthy puppies, at a certain age, if you don't let them get into the toilet paper, that's what they like. They like soft stuff. They stop doing it. But if you don't crate the dog and you're letting the dog mouth objects all the time, they'll do it. And what they'll do is they'll start eating the objects and they'll get pickup. That's a behavioral issue with dogs. So don't use a crate and don't let your dog chew on things. And if you can't watch the dog, you put it in a crate. You put the puppy in a crate. And you put the dog, that's the lab that's a year and a half old, you're leaving, you can't watch it, in the crate. If you're leaving the room to take a shower, put the lab in a crate. Put the golden in a crate. Don't be foolish. Don't trust a dog. You would have to be ridiculous. Oh, I trust my dog. You're an idiot, okay? You're an idiot if you trust a dog. Dogs make decisions. They're always bad. They need you there. That's the whole deal. That's what you want. You want the dog looking for you for direction. You need to ensure that nothing happens to the dog, and the way that we do this is by using a crate. You can get the puppy to stop biting, doing this puppy biting. Okay? Like I said, Bowser, sit up. I'm going to do this one more time. I'm not saying you should do this. Maybe another dog trainer's watching this. But so, no. He licks me. That's fine. Going for my face like that was a big no-no. So in this whole session, like one of the first times he did open his mouth a little bit, that's a vast improvement. It was like when I first started doing this, like the whole time, if I put my face down here, he was going for it. So this is a vast improvement. I still have like tomorrow. We're going to work on this until he goes home, and we're going to work on this with his dad. You can get the puppy to stop being mouthy, the mouthy puppy, but you have to correct the dog. And you can't encourage this behavior. You want to discourage the behavior. And you're really not going to get it, to completely subside unless... Are you training the dog to do all the commands? You're not, are you? How much time a day do you spend with the puppy? Barely any, right? I mean, I'm talking about training. A young puppy, you should be spending, in very small, 2 minutes here, 2 minutes there, 10 sessions a day. That's 20 minutes or something. Spread out throughout the day. If you're not doing that, why did you get the dog? And if you're not paying somebody like me to get this done for you, why did you get the dog? Seriously. I just had a call the other day. This is a true story. It's clearly people trying to get information. College kid, 2 of them, sisters. They bought an English bulldog. They're in college. Why would you get an English bulldog? Why would you get any dog when you're in college? Don't you have enough on your plate? I mean, how stupid are you? And then when they find out my price to do 2 months with the dog, they took the information that they got. I could tell they were writing stuff down, right? And they're going to go it alone. How well do you think this is going to go for this bulldog? This bulldog is going to be a mess. It already bit, at 8 weeks, supposedly, it bit the vet tech. And they're going to do it on their own. Poor dog, seriously. There is Bulldog Rescue, which is probably where this dog will end up, or at the parents' house, more than likely. Don't be unrealistic. You're in college. You don't need a baby or a dog, okay? It's just mindless. I have stupid people contact me all the time. Professionals. I had a professional contact me recently that thought, oh, I can do it all on my own. I'm gonna work with the dog until 6 months, and then you can take over. Oh, I could tell this person was just so unrealistic. And then you're getting a call like, I can't take it. It's a lot. And to put your puppy, to think of the puppy as a morphed little human being, you're going to have problems. And if you encourage mock fighting and this puppy biting, you encourage it and don't discourage it, you're making a huge mistake. One other thing. Bowser's e-collar conditioned, okay? Now, I don't use the e-collar for stuff like that. I might use the e-collar if a puppy or a dog is jumping up on a couch. By the way, the e-collar is lower than a human can feel it. All right? He's on, I think this morning, he was on like 8. So he's between 8 and 10. 15 is where a human can even feel it. This is a mini educator that I'm talking about. It's not an abusive tool unless you don't know what you're doing with it. But if you're gonna work with puppy biting, or the dog biting, you don't use the e-collar. It doesn't work that way. The physical correction of the leash tied in with the no, where the no has already been, we've already used the e-collar with no. Okay? With like the commands, that's already conditioned in. But it would be non-effective and it would be counterproductive if you use the e-collar if your dog or puppy's biting. Don't do that. That's not how it's used. I've been using e-collar since the late 80s, early 90s, something like that. Maybe 1989, 88. It was a Tritronics, my first collar. It was gigantic. It's gigantic. They've come a long way. E-collar Technologies makes a great collar. But if you don't know how to use it, it doesn't matter how great the product is. you're going to screw up the dog. So once again, I'm going to go over this about the face just to show. Bows, come on, buddy, sit up. I'm not telling you to do this. I'm just telling you what I did to get him to quit going for my face. No. He can lick me. That's it. Any of this, and I would have gone like that and said no. Did that just confuse him when I did that? No, it didn't. Bowser, no. Give me a kiss. Kiss. Good. Bowser, no. No. Kiss. Bowser, no. Kiss. No. Kiss me. Okay, there you go. Good boy. Sit. Notice how I'm doing this? This is leash flexing him. I'm reminding him that I have the leash on him. Unless it's tied in with no, it's not a correction. This is leash flexing. I'm just telling him, I have the leash on you. I can't correct you. Bowser, no. No. Okay, kiss. No. Kiss. Kiss. Okay, good. You see? So this has totally been dissipating, but without me doing something, he'd be still super mouthy. If I wouldn't have taught him no and worked with him on this, this is the mouthiest dog I've seen. This is including all my clients, right? All the puppies that I work with, and my dog Ike, okay? So he's about as mouthy as my lab Ike was. Super mouthy. He's a good dog. We don't want anything to go wrong with him. So you understand, I am not telling you to do that in this video. I'm just showing you what I do to get the dog, the mouthy dog, to quit biting. And all puppies are mouthy to a point. Some puppies are mouthier than others. If you have a super mouthy puppy, a lab, a golden doodle, you probably should be training it to be a physical assist dog like Bowser. You should train it to retrieve. You know, encourage the behavior in a positive way, not a negative way. And that's exactly what we've done with Bowser. I knew right away this boy was mouthy and he would be a retriever. And so that's what we've concentrated on. No, leave the leash alone. Don't let him chew on the leash either. If I wouldn't have been discouraging this thing with the leash, right, every time you do it, and I'm not saying it's totally, he's still teething. But I can put him in the down position, leave the leash, and everything's cool. In other words, he knows I'm on the phone or I'm distracted, so this would be a time that he would go and chew on the leash. But if we're doing an exercise downstairs, and I throw the leash on the ground, at this point, he's in the down position like this. You know, he knows I could come in and correct him anytime. He's not going to chew on the leash, and the owner will have the same kind of experience. He's not really chewing on the leash anymore. But where this is true, I put the leash on the dog. This is another time. This is going to be a long video. This is going longer than I thought. But every time I put the leash on Bowser, my hand was going towards him. You know, it's Bowser would respond like it was this opportunity to hand wrestle with me. No way. No way. I even think at times, here Bowser, sit up. I think even at times, what I would do is like I'd have the leash off of him, I'd go like this and clip it on, right? So I have control of the snout, drop. By the way, if your dog barks, and your dog's barking, and you go up and grab the snout, your dog's going to keep barking. That's not what I'm doing, and don't do that. Your dog's barking, it needs to be corrected. That is not a correction. That's going to make it worse. So the other thing that I would do, here, Bowser, sit up, is that if the collar, say I'm putting the collar on the dog, and you go for the side of the head, he'd have more of a tendency to go for the hand. But if I would go underneath, right? If I could find the D ring under here, go like that, he'd also have less of an opportunity to try and do that. So I'm using my head. I'm also correcting him. I'm not putting him in situations where he is mouthy, and I'm also putting him in situations where I know he's going to be mouthy, and I'm going to correct him. It's a full frontal attack to get the puppy to quit doing puppy biting. Some dogs are going to be easier than others. Some dogs, just so you know, it's like terriers and stuff, they are nearly as mouthy, but they're hard-mouthed. Like Jack Russells. Jack Russells are born to kill. They are born to kill, but they're hard-mouthed. They're not soft-mouthed. So they might stop puppy biting and stuff real quick, and by 6 months, they're not doing that at all, you know. Or they're not doing that by, 4 months, they've already stopped. Bowser, no. But they're also, on the same hand, they will kill something at 6 months. They're just hardwired to do this, so don't let your dog start killing. I hope this was helpful. I hope this has been helpful. But you have to stay on this, and you have to be realistic. This is a subspecies of the wolf. They don't think, they respond. And they respond with instinctually, and with trained commands. So know that. If your dog is just responding, just instinctually, you're going to have a problem. You better get training that dog. You can't avoid the puppy being mouthy, but you can't encourage it, and you need to discourage it. So know that if you're not working with the mouthy dog like this, it's not going to get better, and you're going to be calling somebody like me saying, "Oh, my dog's crazy." Well, no dog is crazy, and I'll tell you why. It's because they do not have the gray matter that we have. We ponder thought. Humans have a lot of issues. Dogs aren't suicidal. Dogs don't have personality disorders. They have a few things, but it's not related to like our psychology. Dogs really don't have a psychology, and when Cesar Millan uses that term, what he's meaning is the psychology between, I'm not a dog whisperer, and I think what he does is bullshit, but what he's meaning is the psychology between dog and man, that man interacts with the dog and makes the dog be compliant in some fashion. He uses purely dominance, and I think it's ridiculous. He doesn't even train in commands. By the way, remember I was talking about the idiots that called with the bulldog puppy. One of the things that they were doing was rolling the puppy over on its back and holding it in place. That's a good way to create a biter, you know. That is not going to go well for that dog. I hope this video was helpful. I'm not telling you to do this. I'm just showing you, for education purposes. We're going to do it one more time. Bowser, sit up, brother. Stop looking at Bucket the cat. Sit. No. Like if I went this close, he was already going for me. So vast improvement. No, sit up, brother. No. Okay, kiss. Good boy. Okay? Keep your kid's face out of the dog's face. Don't do that. You have a kid smile. Longer video, here we go. The kids are shorter, they're smiling, they smell different than an adult, they cause excitement, they stare at the dog. That's a challenging behavior. They're challenging the dog. They're smiling, baring their teeth. They're shorter, so they're more apt to be making eye contact. You get it? Kids aren't so good for dogs, but statistically, adults are bit just as often as kids. Okay? So know that. We have 4 million dogs dying every year because of improper training, lack of training, or no training at all, or just flat out somebody being irresponsible with a dog. Don't do it. Don't do it. Make sure and start telling your dog this is not a behavior that you want. It's not good. Stay up. That's not a proper thing to be doing with any dog, is wrestling with them like that. You do that, you're an idiot, okay? Maybe train the dog to do retrieves. Train the dog to do frisbee. They like to do anything. They like to sit. They don't care. You don't have to train with food. That's another thing. Don't train your dog with food. It's unnecessary. You can train your dog with play and praise. Good boy. They work for that. Going through a door is positive reinforcement. Why are you going to give them food? It's nonsense. Do not train your puppy with food. Don't train your older dog with food. Be careful. Don't encourage biting and discourage it. Buzzer.